हेलो, अब आवाज आ रही है? चेक करिए। हाँ, तो मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया, मैंने तो वही किया जो मैं पहले कर रहा था। आप Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anubhav, and I'll be your trainer for the day. I hope my name is Anubhav, and I am your trainer for the day. I hope the all technical issues are in place, and quickly confirm me that is everything. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anubhav, and I'll be your trainer for the day. I hope. Now, if everything is feasible, everything is audible, everything is visible, you will quickly go on a chat box and press a yes or a no to confirm is everything okay or not. Now, I completely understand all those enthusiasts, all those CEOs, directors, chairmen, entrepreneurs, or the future managers in this country would have given this entrance exam called DUJAT 2021. I know that this is one exam what you have been waiting for, because this is a ticket to Delhi University on the basis of entrance. This is one entrance exam which gives you an access to the best college at an undergraduate level, which offers a 3-year management course. This is one management program which started in year 1987, and each one of you are excited to get into Delhi University, even if you don't score a 95 or a 97, because you think it is based on entrance exam. But let me tell you, all those plans, all those strategies, all those plans, all those strategies would not have worked today, because this year they came up with something different. Instead of 25, 25, 25 ka pattern, they had something else to play. Well, 2021, obviously a historic year. 2021, when people have appeared for no board exams, would be different, especially for DU as well. Yes, the exam was computer-based test. Yes, the exam was conducted on Bharat Bandh, but still NT and Delhi University were able to manage this entrance exam without a much of technical glitch. Yes, the pattern was not exactly the same what came in year 2020. All the coaching centers, all the gurus, all the teachers, all the counselors would have said 25 questions of quantitative aptitude, 25 questions of LRDI, 25 questions of GK, and 25 questions of English would have given you a seat in one of the best colleges like Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies or Delhi University. But as I said, year 2021, historic year, तो कुछ तो different होना ही था. We appeared for Symbiosis, we appeared for Narsi Monji, we appeared for IIMs. And when we were giving that entrance exam, we could have easily switched from quantitative aptitude to logical reasoning to data interpretation to English. It was so easy to switch over from one section to another. But Delhi University said, no, 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 no. We will give you a mixed bag. I repeat, Delhi University said we are going to give you a mixed bag. You said we could have played on our strengths, but strengths were based on questions. Strengths were not based on sections. Structure was so confusing that a reading comprehension question number 1 was on page X, and reading comprehension question number 2 was on page X plus 2 plus 3 plus 5. After 5 questions, there was a reading comprehension question number 2. There was no relation. You would have gone again reading the entire paragraph, and that's the reason structure was a little difficult. Well, management students, management enthusiasts, all those who are applying for DUJAT in 2021 would have faced some issue with respect to time management as well. Because when we appeared for our mocks, when we appeared for various exams, when we appeared for previous year exams, we thought 25 questions in GK, which means about 5 to 10 minutes. We read the question, we mark the option. We read the question, we don't know the option. That was the most easiest way to do GK. But 25 questions in 5 to 10 minutes, which means the remaining time, I repeat, which means the remaining time of GK, you would have invested in quantitative aptitude and logical reasoning. But this time, GK was not about 25 questions. GK was only about 10 to 12 questions. And imagine 10 to 12 questions in GK, you would have got no time. There were no sitters. And when quantitative aptitude is about 35 to 40 questions, the amount of time you invested was huge. If I look at Delhi University DUJAT slot number 2, quantitative aptitude in year 2020 was about 25 questions, but quantitative aptitude in year 2021 was about 43 questions. So the time management for 18 questions, kahan se laye? LRDI, which was about 25 questions, was more or less about 24 questions. English, which was about 25 questions, is now about 22 questions. GK, which was about 25 questions, has come down to 11, which means this particular portion was difficult for you. Marking scheme said, for every right answer, we will give you a +4. For every wrong answer, we will give you -1. Other than marking scheme, rest, everything was genuinely very difficult when it comes to Delhi University 2021 entrance exam for DUJAT. Now, I would request my technical team and people on YouTube to confirm that this Word document is visible to you or not. So friends, if this Word document is visible to you, I would want you to go on a chat box and confirm with me, yes, it is visible. When you talk about quantitative aptitude English GK, your English was about analogy. Analogy was about 2 questions. Phrases and verb, which was about 2 questions. Reading comprehension, which is always a key to appear for an entrance exam, was about 10 questions. 5 questions were from Grand Slam. 5 questions were from Caffeine Effect. And this is what I'm talking about, slot 2. All those students who just stepped in home, all those students who had that evening batch, so this is how your paper would have looked like. 2 synonyms, 3 sentence correction, 1 word substitution, and 2 spelling errors. So this was about your entrance exam as far as English is concerned. Mathematics was not different because mathematics for Delhi University has always been on a little difficult side. But this time it was not just difficult, it was lengthy too. Where you've got 11 questions from calculus, 12 questions from algebra, coordinate geometry, statistics, data interpretation, arithmetic, and trigo. So you had almost everything. I repeat, you had almost everything which was asked in quantitative aptitude. But the surprise was general awareness and current affairs, where static GK was about 6 questions and others were about 5. So this was about your English, this was about your quantitative aptitude, and this was about your GK. Now, students, please be very, very careful when you are talking about logical reasoning, because logical reasoning was about puzzles. Logical reasoning had syllogisms as well. And logical reasoning this time was based a lot on critical reasoning, because critical reasoning and syllogisms were quite a few in numbers. This time, when you talk about data interpretation question, the data interpretation question was completely based on the count process. Whereas in slot 1, data interpretation question was based a lot in your percentages format. So friends, this was about slot 2, but the moment you talk about slot 2, general knowledge was without current affairs, but general knowledge was still easy because they were asking questions like Birlas, they were asking questions like Azim Premji. General awareness had questions like how many people were able to sit in Narendra Modi Cricket Stadium. So I would not say the general knowledge was on a difficult part. I would say general knowledge was on a moderate part, but yes, it did not go according to the plan because we invested a lot of time doing current affairs. I would say it was different from plan, but it was not difficult. So if I have to take quantitative aptitude, it was moderate to difficult. When you talk about GK, it was easy, but different. When you talk about reasoning, it was moderate to easy. And when you talk about English, it was moderate to easy. Now, in this entire city, in this entire country, everyone would say 75 is a good attempt, 78 is a good attempt, 79 is a good attempt, 80 is a good attempt, and you are waiting for this statement, sir, ye sab to hum paper mein dekh ke aaye hain, please tell us what about the cutoffs. Friends, if I have to say cutoffs, this is one single entrance exam which says no cutoffs. Any institute, any teacher, any trainer, I repeat, any institute, any teacher, any trainer who says 70 to 75 questions are good on the condition that you score a 90%, I will not agree with it, because this is one entrance exam which will have division on two primary things. One, 35% of your class 12 score and 65% on the basis of your entrance test. I repeat, 35% on your class 12 score, 65% on the basis of your entrance exam. And this is one exam which will be fighting for a lot of places in terms of your decimal position. For your reference, what I'll do is I will share year 2020. I will share year 2020 marking scheme. Friends, look at this very carefully. You will get your results in this kind of a format. When you are looking at your results in this kind of a format, you will have a DUJAT score, you will have a best of 4 score, and you will have a final score. Now, person who scored 97%, I repeat, person who scored 97% and scored 50.625 in DUJAT had a rank of 1150. Whereas another student who again scored a 90 plus, which was 96.25. If you look at it, percentage doesn't make a lot of percentage over here is not very huge. It is just about 3 marks. Or maybe I would say it's about 3 marks, which would have given you a 96.25, say 97. An entrance exam was a difference of 4 marks. So over here, if you look at it, I repeat, over here you look at it, 96.25 is lesser than 97. 50.625 is lesser than 54.25. Even scoring less in class 12, the person was able to score 736 rank, and the other one was able to score 1150 rank. Now students, both of them are 95 plus. I repeat, both of them are 95 plus, and there is a difference of only 4 marks, but there is a difference of 400 ranks. You are fighting for Delhi University, which will fight for at least 10 different places at decimals. Look at the scorecard, 66.85625. Now listen to this, 66.85625 is the score, 69.38627 is the score. What is the difference? The difference is only and only 0.5. I repeat, the difference in the final score is only 0.5, but the 0.5 difference, look over here, 69.275, 69.38627. I repeat, 69.7275, 69.38627. There is hardly a difference of 0.14, but there is a difference of 17 different ranks. There is a difference of 17 different ranks. Friends, please do not fall under the trap of a good score, idle attempt. There is nothing idle attempt in Delhi University, because a lot depends what you do in your class 12th. Now just look at this score. You score a 95.75, you score a 95.25. I repeat, you score a 95.75, you score a 95.25. Instead of 56, you score a 59, but your ranks will have a difference of 180. Not acceptable. So all these estimates, all these numbers are making a fool out of you. Do not agree to this situation where you say, where counselors, teachers and institutes will say 95 se upar hai. You've got 70 good questions, you have a great chance. I ask a question, a university which will fight till 10 decimal places. How can I say 95 and 98 is the same score? How can I say an entrance exam like 76 or 78 is a good score? It's not possible. But whatever I've heard from my students, whatever I've seen in the last 16 years, I would say DUJAT morning shift, students were able to do 72 to 74 questions because of the timelines. And in the later evening shift, a good was about 76 to 80 odd questions. This is about a good attempt looking at the time span. It has got nothing to do with the cutoffs, because your cutoff will be dependent on the process of normalization first. Both the exams will be done on a normalization basis. And once the normalization is done, then your class 12 will also play a very, very important role. Please do not fall under that trap that 76 or 78 is a good score, because I have shown you year 2020, the cutoffs were absolutely different. It changed on 1 mark. So you can't get into that trap. Come on, you are smart people. You are someone who's applying for DUJAT. You can't make those mistakes. And if I look at the pattern which was conducted in the morning, time, speed, and distance is, I think, a favorite topic for Delhi University, because they hardly ask 1 or 2 questions from arithmetic which are direct in nature. And you will find time, speed, and distance. In morning, you would have seen time, speed, and distance based on average speed. In evening, you would have time, speed, and distance problem on trains. Coordinate geometry was a little surprise. Complex numbers, arithmetic progression, integration, which was not asked last year, which was asked this year, about 1 question. Differential equation, matrices, determinants, linear equation, probability, which is asked every year at a difficult level, was very easy in this exam. There were 2 questions of functions, 2 questions of limits, 2 questions of logs, and 1 question of continuity. So the paper for mathematics was about moderate to difficult. If you look at logical reasoning, percentages, there were 5 questions which were based on data. There was an important thing which was introduced in morning reasoning ka paper. It says the strong and a weak argument. 2 answers to the question, and they were asking which one is stronger and which one is not. This was not asked in the evening paper, but it was asked in morning paper. So that is the reason I said your critical reasoning part is important from this perspective, and also as well as perspective for syllogisms. Now, when you talk about questions with respect to verbal ability, typically 2 reading comprehensions, word meanings, where you had words like fastidious, or for that matter, mordant. So these were the words which were asked as far as word meanings are concerned, and also spellings were checked. GK was a little different. I would not say it was difficult, but yes, it was different too, because topics like Costa Rica, topics like Bitcoins, full form of CMEI, or capital of Cavarity was asked. So this is the topic which was covered in this entrance exam. And for the morning paper, I would have said a good attempt would have been a 72 to 75, depending on what you scored in class 12th. But trust me, believe me, and mark my words, these are those entrances where you will have a fight for 10 level of decimal places. So this is how the entire Delhi University 2020 went. You would have faced some problem in some questions where you would have said, kya ye question sahi tha? Is this question right or wrong? Don't worry, you will have the answer key. I will still repeat what I said earlier. I repeat what I said earlier. Friends, you have your scorecards dependent on 3 criterias. The first is your class 12 score, which is about 35%. Second is they will be asking you something which is based on your entrance exam. Third, friends, they will be taking a normalization process for the morning shift and the evening shift. So once these 3 things are done, then you are in a position to tell me, then you are in a position to share me, then you are in a position to tell me, then you are in a position to share with me what is an ideal cutoff, what is an ideal score, do we think this number is good enough to get into it or not. So friends, please make sure that you get these 3 things in place. Now, whatever questions you have, please feel free to ask your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. Any questions, anyone? Any questions? Well, if you have more questions, you can get in touch with me. If you have more questions, you can get in touch with me on anubhav.rakheja@careerlauncher.com. I repeat, if you have questions, you can get in touch with me at anubhav.rakheja@careerlauncher.com. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. In case you have questions, please feel free to ask me. You can mail me at anubhav.rakheja@careerlauncher.com. Your slot 1 was a little difficult in terms of time management in comparison to slot 2. Both the sections, mathematics was moderate to difficult. Reasoning was easy to moderate. GK in part 2 was much more easier than GK in part 1. And as far as your LRDI is concerned, the structure was very similar. Pattern of the questions were very similar. Data interpretation on one hand was on a percentage side. Data interpretation on two was on a hand of counting side. So normalization, your class 12 score and your entrance exam will tell you what is your exact score, and they will fight till at least 10 places of the decimals. You can get in touch with me, ask your queries anytime you want. Thank you so much.